out on a Saturday morning to come join us for GitHub Career Fair Bangalore, and we are super excited to have all of you here. Well, maybe just let me know how excited you all are.
Very.
That was very cold. Maybe louder. Louder. Okay, let's give it a go one more time in 3, 2, 1. So let me just very quickly dive into the slides here. So does anyone want to help me out with the question, which is what are GitHub Career Fairs? Anyone who has attended GitHub Career Fair in Delhi? Good. We wanted diversity this time, so I'm glad that did not happen. But GitHub Career Fairs in India are basically focused around helping student developers get in touch with industry experts, and we just try our level best to get them access to a lot of knowledge around winning internship experiences, landing good job opportunities, and this time we have a good lineup doing just that. So now talking about the flow of event, I know we have kept this a big secret. So today I'm going to be giving you a run through what all we are going to be talking about. The first session that we are going to have, thank you. The first session that we are going to have today is basically an introduction to internships. Most of you already know what internships are all about, but we'll try to give you a better insight into what it looks like from GitHub Education's end. After that, we'll have a session by Aditya Oberoi on building in public, the benefits of building in public. After that, Vishnupriya and I are going to have a session on how to fill the perfect application, be it for a job opportunity, winning internship experience, and events like GitHub Career Fair Bangalore. After that, we are going to have a lunch break. Someone really wanted snacks. I hope the lunch makes you happy. And after that, we are going to be having a session on the benefits of joining communities in tech and how they help you grow in your career. After that, we are going to have a session led by Mukaram from Rakuten, who's going to be talking about the benefits of joining hackathons. And then, last but not least, we'll have Geeta Alekhya Paul, who will be talking about what externships are, what externships were rather, and what the experience was really like. Now, I know most of you did not go through the code of conduct, I was right. So please take your time out, take your cameras out, and please go through the code of conduct. We strictly adhere to the conduct that's being followed at this event. Rakuten has its own set of rules that we all need to follow that include not littering in this premises. Please try your level best to keep the area clean. If you are snacking on something, make sure you get rid of it in the nearest dustbin that's outside. And everyone's through?
Yup.
Okay. Okay. What's an event without some technical glitches, right?
I think it's the last slide.
Okay. So yeah, that was all about it for the opening session. Now we have a super special video for you. Give me just one moment. Maybe in the meantime, let's just jump to. Again, what's an event that's not understood? So, okay, once again, a quick show of hands. How many of you know about GitHub Options? Okay, we are going to dive right in either ways. Hello, Aditya. So, we have Aditya here. Please join us. Aditya is officially from Applied, and Applied is one of the partner organizations of GitHub Options, and we are super related to have you here. And next.
Do you need a clicker? We do have a script.
I know when this question.
Yeah, we are just having some technical issues. So let's go back to the student journey on GitHub. How many of you are currently enrolled on the global campus that's offered by GitHub Education? Good. If you're not, we also have a link that we'll be sharing with all of you in a while in case you don't already have access to it. So what the student journey on GitHub towards October like is, first you need to get access to global campus. You need to be a part of one of the affiliated universities that are registered on GitHub. Post that, you just utilize all the tools or maybe most of the tools that are there on the student developer pack and equip yourself with all the knowledge that you need to conquer the world. You can engage with some super fan programs like the GitHub Campus Expert program, and then you can apply for GitHub Internships and get a lot of industry experience. Now, moving on to kickstarting your future with Internships, the GitHub Internships program connects you to paid remote industry experiences that will boost your career. So you can join the next generation of developers. So the first step that we have, we explore open source and software development projects on GitHub Global Campus. Again, the first pointer that we talked about previously. We contribute to projects through code documentation, design, testing, and more. So if you're not a developer, you don't have to be scared. If you're a designer, you will always apply. If you're more into testing, you can also apply. So apart from that, you can learn more about all the domains out there, whatever you feel like. Get your resume in top shape by growing your skills, working with industry experts, and then you come on board. GitHub Internships program. It's a 3-step process. The first step is to join GitHub Global Campus. The second one is to apply to your favorite projects. There are a lot of organizations out there, including Apprite. And then if your application is shortlisted, you sit for the interviews, you get shortlisted, and you join the organization of your liking. The mission of GitHub Internships is nothing but to empower students to discover and unlock industry opportunities on GitHub. And that is the main reason why we are organizing our GitHub Career Fair Bangalore, to give you better insight into internships and all the other opportunities out there. So this is what the process looks like. First, you need to unlock your profile and become eligible for the program. For that, you need to be verified. You need to be a verified student on Global Campus or GC here. You need to be enrolled in an institution from the available regions. So GitHub Internships, as you may or may not know, is currently available in only 10 countries, and India is one of them. And you need to be an active monthly contributor on GitHub. What this looks like, if you want to take a look at it in real time, you can always head over to GitHub Global Campus and check out if you are eligible for internships or not. If not, it's a big sign for you to start contributing to open source mode. Again, it does not have to be just code. You can always design, you can always help developers out with testing and other stuff. The next step is to apply to the organizations of your liking. You can access online streams or sessions run by partner organizations, and then you can apply to open internship opportunities on Global Campus, and you will always track applications on the Global Campus dashboard. Moving on. Once you're through with the first 2 steps and you make the cut into the onboarding session, you start the internships at respective partner organizations. You join GitHub Internships community on Discord, which is again the same community that houses all the campus experts. And you have monthly scheduled virtual community engagement activities to make sure that you don't just code but learn something new every day. So more details about internships. We are currently active in 10 different countries, and as you can see, India is one of them. The minimum stipend of a GitHub intern is at least $500, which is a great deal, trust me. And the duration can be anywhere between 1 to 6 months, depending on the requirements of the organization and the availability of the interns. And the commitment usually looks like 20 to 25 hours a week. To give you a better insight, colleges require you to work at least 40 hours, so easy to balance, I'd say. The opportunities that you get to take a deeper dive into open source, you get to experience what the world of software developers is like. you can help developers out with documentations, design, and testing, all within one single program. So applications are open for students right now. How many of you ended up applying for internships this year? So many of you know about internships, but only 3 people applied for internships.
Right.
4?
Applied.
4. Okay, so give it a go. Internships are open right now for everyone. There still are a lot of organizations that are hiring interns. There are a lot more in the pipeline, and I'm confident that this opportunity will be one of the best internship experiences for all of you. And career info sessions, the campus experts and the GitHub education team, we organize a lot of career info sessions like this one to not only help students learn more about internships, but in general. By the way, welcome Orko Didi sir. He was one of the founders of the GitHub Options program. So yes, career info sessions like this one are not only aimed at introducing internships, but also helping student developers out with learning more about open source contributions and a lot of other things. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. Now we are going to break into our first networking session. So we may want to stop the stream. And when you were checking in, you all received a band, right? A wristband. Most of you have orange, the other half have purple, right? I want all the people with orange bands on this side, all the people with purple bands on this side.
Alright, hi folks, how are y'all doing? I can see you're still networking really well. Sit down. Everyone ready? Awesome. So folks, I'm going to do a quick introduction from me. So I'm Ritvi. I'm currently working as a developer advocate at Dice. I'm here because actually I told you last night I'm also organizing this event. But yeah, I'm going to introduce Aditya next, who's taught me a lot over the past few years about dev and building in public. And he's going to tell you the same things he's been teaching me over the past few years. Aditya, over to you.
Thank you for that. By the way, Ritvik does overplay this a lot. I don't know as much as she's trying to do that, but we will try and make sure this is valuable for everyone. By the way, everyone, one note to keep in mind. This is going to be very discussion based. There's going to be a lot of to and fro. So stay alert. There might be some benefit for you if you are constantly engaging and interacting in this session. All right? Sounds good?
Yes.
Awesome. So, I know Ritik has already given a wonderful introduction of me. I don't know how much more I can add to that, but I once again, I am Aditya. I currently work as a developer advocate at Apple, which is an open source backend as a service platform. Aside from that, I've been active across a variety of communities over the last 4 or 5 years or so by now. I was active across a few different student programs like the Microsoft Student Ambassadors, Google Developer Student Clubs, with majorly hacking, and lately I've been more active as a Microsoft MVP now. And in case anyone wants to connect with me, I doubt it's visible there, but you can connect with me on Twitter or GitHub. We can always chat about that later on. Now, as far as this particular session goes, we're going to be talking about something that it's something we hear about a lot on platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn. It's something a lot of our seniors tell us about, but a lot of us don't really understand it well, and that is working in public. So, quick question. How many people here actually know what working in public means? Anyone? I see Jasira's hand first. Yeah. You want to tell?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this term working in public means is that you are building something, not alone. You have people, you have developers contributing to that same thing. You are enforcing team collaboration, communication, all these soft skills, along with the technical skills as well, and you are growing the project along the way. And then you are maybe marketing as well, maybe Twitter page, you are just engaging more developers, more people in that. So it's like you are recognizing your work over the public platform so that you get recognized over what you do, what skills you have. और जब आप let's say you reach out to companies, you get to recruiters, तो आपने जो किया है, you get recognized for that.
Awesome, that's actually really, really good. Thank you so much for that. Let's round of applause. Does anyone else want to add as well? Or was that good for everyone? You can raise the hand, that's okay, it's not a problem. There's no concern about doing right or wrong, that's not an issue. So if anyone still wants to add, just raise your hand up. I see one person.
Actually, I thought that working in public means that working in a cafe coffee day or something like that.
That's a nice idea.
That's a very, very good plan actually. In fairness, I've done that a few times. It's one way of looking at it for sure. Enter any third way of Bangalore, you know exactly what it's talking about. No, that was nice. Thank you so much for that. I think probably the definition aligns more with the formal one. But, yeah, that was definitely good. So, being a human in the modern world, I asked ChatGPT what it means. And what ChatGPT told me is, what working in public means is, the practice of sharing your work, projects, contributions with a wider audience. And that's typically done through online platforms or communities. Platforms that could include different social media, like Twitter or X. It could be LinkedIn, could be Reddit, places like Stack Overflow. But the idea here essentially is that you're putting your work out there rather than letting it remain in a private sort of ecosystem where maybe only you and a handful number of people are able to view it and access it. Now, of course, if we're talking about working in public, it sounds very scary, right? Putting all of your work out there, putting it in front of the world, waiting for all the criticism. It happens, doesn't it? We keep hearing about that in the open source space at least. But for every reason why it might be scary, difficult, problematic, there are a lot of reasons why it's also very, very good. Anyone want to share any reasons why they think working in public is a good idea?
It is called authenticity and openness key. There isn't anything to actually hide away from the users. You can actually show them what actually is happening behind the scenes. That's actually the main thing.
Definitely, openness adds to transparency. I'll take your answer and then I'll go to you.
Okay.
I think
I think you're getting constant feedback, and obviously criticism is also one of the kind of feedback which you can work upon and can better yourself. So,
Constant feedback and criticism. For sure, it can have a lot of benefits. I'll go for yours.
Yeah, so I was looking at an IAM service, which is the Identity Management Service, and there I tried to rewrite a CAPTCHA library. Okay, and then they told me, no, this is wrong. And like, why? So they told me anything SHA-256 is known to all, and that's what makes it more secure. Right? Anything open source, even your Wikipedia, your multiple website building platforms, right, are open source, and they have been tweaked for so many years. So if you are writing something privately, like I tried to write my own CAPTCHA service, that wouldn't be very secure.
Absolutely. That's a very, very big factor. In fact, it's something we often face as an open source organization as well. Because the more feedback you can get, the more quickly you can make improvements as well. Right? Everyone gets an opinion, and with as long as you're getting constructive feedback, you can continue improving and solving challenges you might not even have realized would have been a problem. That's a great point. Thank you so much for that. I'll take yours and then I'll pop it to the slides. Yeah.
You get to experience your initial set of users for the application, and it's very good to have the sort of initial feedback, because you could pitch that to the other people who you want to leverage in sort of that terms.
Sure. Easier to get your work out in front of other people, getting feedback. That's great. Then we'll take one last and then I'll jump in.
So according to me, सबसे बड़ा फायदा जो इसमें है, it's कि जो आप काम कर रहे हो, what's the perspective of other developers? Because what you are writing may not be according to industry standard. So it should be like clean code. जैसे हो गया. You don't know what clean code is. People think कि indentation maintained करना is clean code, but no. You have to divide your code into components, different folders. So when other people give their perspective, how this code can be written in multiple ways. So that's the main benefit of working in public.
Being able to align with standards, for sure. Great points. There are some points that go beyond code as well when we talk about why you should work in public. I'm going to jump into them alongside as well. But great points by everyone. Little round of applause. So when I talk about a lot of my reasons for why you should work in public, the first one is learning. I think we've heard a lot of points here about being able to get initial feedback, being able to work with them, right? Learning is a very, very big aspect of working in public, because the more your work is out there, the more feedback you can get, the more you can understand what you need to do next, right? Like for example, we took this example where you might not understand what clean code is. In your definition, it could have been just indentation, but a pattern that breaks it further into components or so. That's one example of what it means to learn something new because of the feedback you're receiving. This learning is very, very helpful, and it's something we practice a lot in open source, because the more you work in public, the more feedback you get from people who have similar or more experiences from you, or even less than that. That's also right. The more you're exposed to new standards, new patterns, new knowledge, right? And the more you have access to this information, the more prepared you are, the better you grow, as you move forward from, let's say, for example, your student journey, right? Right now, for example, a lot of your learning is restricted to the classroom. But if you're also practicing working in public, it means you could get access to practical knowledge that you might not gain always out of your faculty or your classmates or your books. So learning is definitely a major factor there. Next up, networking. The more you work in public, the more you're interacting with people, right? Whether it is through feedback, whether it is through criticism, whether it's through collaboration. You know, you put out a piece of work, someone else thought there's another idea for it. Like with one of my projects that I've been working on, which is an all text generator. Yesterday on Twitter, we had a full-fledged discussion about how a website like that could be restructured, it could be repurposed as a weak plugin to auto-generate alt text for HTML or MDX or HTMX files. And you know, the more you put this work out there, the more people you meet, the more ideas you gain. And because these are relations you're building on something tangible, not just the fact that, hi, I am from so and so college, let's connect. It's based on a tangible factor. It's not an empty or a shallow relation. So networking definitely is a major benefit out of working in public. Recognition. The more your work is out there, the easier it becomes for you to present what your capabilities are, the easier it is for this work to actually be proven, to show that it can bring certain results. And this recognition is again very beneficial as you go forward, because it's based on something tangible, it is based on something people can see and try, right? Like I might talk about how I am a great software developer who can build the best projects in the world. But until I have something out there, that can't actually be proven now, can it? But tomorrow, if I have a project that's actually running at scale, it is out there for people to see. When you're talking on the basis of work you've done, work that is visible, work that people can use. And that is recognized, that is respected. So there is a factor of recognition from working in public as well. Collaboration. I think you already mentioned about this while discussing networking. But collaboration is heavily driven by working in public because more people can see your work, more people can access it. So more people can contribute to it. This is not the tenets of open source, by the way. Because when we talk about open source, okay, quick question. How many people here are open source contributors to any project? Aside from contributing to code, what sort of activities you partake in when you're contributing to an open source project? Documentation. Designing.
Bug fixes, small.
Bug fixes.
Testing, code coverage.
Sorry?
Testing or code coverage.
Code coverage and testing.
Managing the issues and solving bug fixes.
Managing issues and solving
Reviewing PRs.
Reviewing PRs. Okay. How many of, like, considering you're contributing to, you're saying you're contributing, I'm assuming some of you are maintainers and some of you are just contributing, right? How many of these processes are you communicating with different people, taking their inputs, taking their ideas, either working with them to implement it or working on that yourself? Probably every single one of them, isn't it? So there is a factor of collaboration here, and it's only enabled because someone else can access this work, right? It wouldn't be possible if this work wasn't out there. So collaboration is heavily enabled. And this becomes essential the more you grow out of college, as you're working on your own ideas, trying to bring something out in the real world as a tangible product or so on. Career advancement. Out of anything we've discussed, how many of these factors do you think can actually help you grow your careers right now?
All of them.
All of them?
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly factors very well. But that is the truth, right? All of these factors are only helping you individually grow. They're making you better prepared for the world after college. And I'm assuming everyone here is a student, except maybe a couple of us. And all go first. We're all students here mostly, right? So, these areas are going to prepare us better and better for our careers after college. Because even as you work in a company today, you are going to be communicating. You're going to have to collaborate with people in your team, outside of your team, because everything has different stakeholders. You're going to need to network internally as well if you need to personally go out there and grow. All of these factors are going to help you later on as well. So why not start early practicing them? So, having talked a lot about why working in public is good, the next question you have here is how can you showcase your work? What platforms you have? What can you leverage?
Twitter.
Twitter is a very good answer. Thank you for that. Anyone else? LinkedIn. GitHub. I was expecting GitHub to be the first answer to be honest, considering this is GitHub Career Fair, but Hashnode, Reddit. Anything else?
Discord.
Discord. I mean, depends on the server. If it's a big enough public server, then sure. But it's a way of work. That's a bad answer. For sure. Medium. Mastodon. Yes. I was not expecting to hear a Fed rated rate work. I was not planning for that. But good answer there. Those were a lot of good answers, by the way. Different ways when I talk about how can I showcase my work in public. The first one, of course, is open source contributions and work. Working on GitHub. Whether this is on projects you're maintaining, sustaining on yourself by yourself, or whether these are projects maintained and sustained by other people that you're sharing feedback with, that you're adding your own contributions to, that you're helping the new PRs with, that you're helping discover more bugs and so on. This is a great way of working in public, at least for technologists and developers, which I think is safe to assume is a big part of us, at least if not everyone. And that's basically because it's going to directly help you grow as a technologist as you go forward. So open source contributions are a great way, places where you can do that. GitHub for sure, that's probably the easiest one to access. And I know I spend most of my day on GitHub, considering I work at an open source company, so that's probably why, but GitHub's a good place to be around for that. Secondly, technical content, technical blogs. We had some answers with Medium, Hashnode, Dev.to. Platforms of these are again a great place to showcase your own knowledge, because to work on technical content, at least deeper technical content or content that goes beyond the surface, you need to yourself build a certain level of experience. And technical blogs only reiterate on these learnings, because unless you have an understanding of what you're talking about, you can't share about it, right? So it helps reiterate your own learning process in quite a healthy manner. So technical blogs are a wonderful way to showcase your capabilities, your knowledge, your skills, and platforms like Dev.to, Medium, Hashnode, and there's probably going to be a few other. You could just start your own blog as well at that point. That's all right. But any of these places are a great way to share your knowledge. Personal projects. How many people here have participated in any hackathon? So you probably have at least 1 or 2 projects, at least, and I can assume there are going to be some with more as well. But personal projects again are a great way to showcase your own ability to think about real world ideas, implement them, and really take them out to the real world. They're a great way to showcase your product thinking and your technical skills. And these are very easily showcaseable today, again through GitHub. You could use GitHub, you could use your own personal portfolio website or so on. But personal projects are a great way to showcase your own skills. In fact, if I have to talk about our own internship experiences, I think some of the most influential factors as we saw different candidates across our software engineering and DevRel internships were open source contributions, personal projects, and technical blogs and content. So all of these methods are great ways, to show your technical knowledge. And personal projects are definitely one of the easiest to get started with. Technical social media. Creating deeper technical content on Twitter or so on is another very good way to bring your knowledge out in an accessible manner to a lot of people. Because, we've got our blogs and they're great in their own way. Social media tends to be a little quicker, a little more synchronous. So it's easier to get info out to a lot more people quickly, right? And all of this is again work in public. It is proof of knowledge. So having technical discussions on different social media, whether it's something like Twitter, LinkedIn, or whether it's something like Reddit, all of these are great, valid ways to get your knowledge out there in front of a lot of people. Conferences and meetup sessions. That's another great way to present, right? Because once you build certain experiences, skills, you might have written about it, you might have worked on projects around it, you might have contributed to projects relevant to it. After that, if you can bring all of this knowledge together, condense it, and share it at stages with other people, that again creates a great validation of skills that you might have. This helps bring out a lot of opportunities because places like technical conferences end up seeing people with a wide range of experiences, some of whom are looking to offer such opportunities and take on board and bring more people into the kind of work they're doing as well. So conferences then become a wonderful place to showcase your knowledge. And once you spend some time building out your experiences just through open source or through projects or through blogs, that is the next step. GitHub Portfolio for sure. We've probably iterated this across contributions and projects, but also it's one thing to just have projects on there. Being able to present it properly across your GitHub, through a good README or with properly pinning your best projects or so on, creates a one-stop easy solution for you to showcase the best of your work. This can be extremely handy because GitHub is now being used more and more to recruit software developers today. It has been exercised in public by companies like Hacker and Dukan has tried this in the past. Fuel Fountain, if anyone is aware of, they've recruited heavily through GitHub portfolios. I know we like, for example, Apple's hiring process, we don't do lead coding. We straight up look at your GitHub. So for any open source company, as well as a lot more beyond, GitHub portfolios are becoming more and more influential because these are great ways to show skills beyond just your fundamental DSA. They're becoming great ways to understand how you proceed with product thinking, how you collaborate with other people, how you contribute and structure projects. Your code, of course, is a factor there, but all in all, it is becoming more and more influential. So having a great GitHub portfolio is only going to improve your chances to find better opportunities for yourself. And that was about it for me. Now, at this point, does anyone have any questions? You have one question.
Are you recruiting?
I am not at the moment. But that being said, there are times when we do actively recruit. I think we do have one position open on at Apple right now as well. And we will be returning to the internship next year for sure. We were a part of it this year, we're going to be returning. So keep an eye out for that.
I've seen that in like app, right? There are not much like the students that graduate from college. There are always experienced roles. So we क्या seen like app does.
So we don't define it by years of experience. Like for example, I started working at Apple in my 7th semester.
No, I'm talking about the technical. Like there's a
even with software engineers, we have someone on the team who started when he was 17 years old. We don't restrict by age. The thing is, what we look for are tangible skills, and we definitely look at how you are fitting into the open source ecosystem, how well you understand that, and what you're doing to grow and showcase your skills. So we don't set it to specify years of experience. That's not how we're recruiting. And that's what your GitHub does for you. If you can showcase enough skills, there are organizations that will prioritize you regardless of how many years of experience you have. So that's definitely not a factor for us. Yeah.
What are the skills that Applied actively looks for?
So considering our stack is essentially the client is based on Spike, so we've got those plus TypeScript in there. The services that we have, the APIs are written in PHP. Plus we have a Dockerized stack. So for our full stack devs, we do heavily look at PHP as the fundamental skill plus a little bit of client side. The front end devs we have prioritized just front end as well. We're not looking for just the best DSA and testers and lead coders. We do look at general software development skill, and that's heavily represented by people's open source work. So that's something we particularly look at. Whether that's projects, whether that is contributions to rewards, is not something we hyper focus on. One thing we have always appreciated is people are contributing in the community that we have. So majority of the engineering team is still people who were community members, who were just actively contributing. That's something we personally prioritize, but that's also because we're a small organization, and it's been particularly helpful for us to work with people who already understand why AppWrite is necessary, how AppWrite functions, and so on. So that's something specific to AppWrite, but in general, relevant skills to the stack. If it's an open source company you're applying to, look at this stack. If your work is relevant, it's going to make your chances better. Having good skills, of course, as a software developer, having a good understanding of system or software design in general, design patterns, having a good ability to communicate and collaborate in public. These are all skills that help a lot.
I had one more question. You were talking about GitHub portfolios, right? So
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is actually a good GitHub portfolio? Does it mean that we have to make a good README file or the repos or the repositories or something like that?
A good README that represents what skills you have, what you've been working on, what you're learning, having your best projects pinned, being able to, it should essentially be able to represent and sum up the extent of your technical abilities. That is what you're trying to achieve. Now, there are different ways to achieve it, but in general, having a well-structured README that represents your skills, your best projects, and so on, is going to be the bare minimum there. And beyond that, you can probably personalize it based on what you want to showcase specifically about you. You and the
Do you guys basically recruit developers as full stack developers, or even you have separations for front end developers and back end developers?
So we've done full stack, which is heavily back end oriented. We've done front end separately. That tends to be a more limited opportunity. So that we recruited for right now, that's not open. And the third thing we brought out more recently is integrations. So that overlaps with full stack and our dev team, where the integrations engineers are heavily focused on building more integrations with other products that would fit in, building more samples. For example, with AppWrite, you can add different storage adapters or database adapters, so that sort of thing. Or functions templates which would enable more collaboration. For example, an AppWrite function template that lets you directly integrate GPT-3, for example. So that has a lot of variance, switches between both at times. But so those are the three we have at the moment. We had one question here.
So you mentioned about writing technical blogs.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any particular way in which we need to present our work or write a technical blog in? Or
This can vary a lot based on what you're trying to showcase, right? If you're trying to delve into a particular language, you might want to go methodically about how the language recommends trying it out. Documentation is related to it, or at least what they're trying to achieve. If you're trying to showcase how to build a certain project or a tutorial, that has a very standardized structure of what's the problem, why it exists, how to solve it. So this depends a little bit on what you're trying to educate about through your blog. But I generally like what's the problem, why is this necessary, how can I go about it, and outcome. That's my personal structure for most of my blogs. And it works, it makes a lot of sense, it explains what you're trying to achieve by, and so that's one thing I can recommend. But again, this depends on how you want to present your content as well. I think one thing that you can think about here is, if you are reading about this particular topic, how would you want to look at it as someone learning? That's one way to kind of set the structure, because if it solves your problem, it's probably going to solve a few other people's problem as well. I think we had one person in the back.
So on Applied Career Space, I saw sometime back that there were some roles for video creators or content creators as well. So just wanted to
We had one dev education role, which was around technical content and YouTube. That was not an India specific role, mainly because we already have multiple developer relations team members in India. But that being said, we will open more development opportunities in the future, and the internship is a place where we will be returning, because we did have development options this year. But I would say that's heavily focused on technical content, so that's just thing to keep in mind. It's not as much design or video editing opportunity. Just a note to keep in mind. Anything else? Yeah.
So this time in the Appride Opturn project,
Mhm.
I heard that Appride was looking for a good UI designer with the project and explaining it as well. So what was the need?
The UI one wasn't more implementing the project as code. It was more being able to, I think we had a couple of UI problems, and maybe showcasing your Figma or your Behance for that. That is what we had. I can't exactly remember because I was more involved in the dev review process. But I think so for the last time we didn't have a lot of candidates who completed our challenge, and I don't think we just found a good fit for us. But that's something we'll still return to in the future. But it was mainly about solving a specific design problem in a structured manner. Now, in general, I can't answer too much of that because I'm not a UI UX designer. So, but one thing you can do is we do have our Discord server that has people from the design team. You can always join there and have a deeper discussion with them. We're all active there, so that I can recommend.
So basically, I was asking Appride is backend as a service platform, right?
Yes.
So in that particular case, do you have any developers which are related to AI or machine learning parts?
Not at the moment. Although we do have an AI tool available in it now, which is essentially we leverage LangChain and OpenAI to train on our documentation and have a direct chat interface in the platform. But as of now, we're not building out our own AI solutions. Yeah.
So, are there any rules and regulations for an organization to apply to GitHub Opturn?
So there are, and I think that's mainly specific. It's quite open in general. There's a lot of flexibility there. It's just that you have to guarantee a minimum standard.
I think for me, it's I haven't really seen what tech stack I do in any of them.
Oh wait, are you talking as an individual or as an organization?
As an individual.
Oh, you need to be registered on GitHub Global Campus, so you need to have some amount of activity on your GitHub, and that opens you up to eligibility for applying to projects. After that, it's specific challenges for projects. So each project that participates in the internship or company, they're going to put up specific challenges. That's how it happened in this last edition. And people submitted a short challenge, a task, which basically acted as your application for the internship. And based on tasks, each organization then reviews. So organizations have different criteria for themselves for the task particularly, but that's the minimum to get your entry in. How long is schedule value? Right? Do we have any other questions? Even if not, that's okay.
So we talked about what counts as a learn in public, right? So I want to know what exactly not count as a learn in public, because I have seen many people writing on Twitter that I have solved 2 lead code questions, right? So they really don't explain what exactly they have done in the question, right? So
that's not sharing in public, right? But their work is available on lead code. Lead code, I think, does allow you to showcase your activity. Now, I will say I haven't written lead code in a few years now.
No, I mean, as in anything.
Right, so it's one thing when you say you've done something, right? It's another when you show what you've done. The latter qualifies as work in public, the former doesn't. Right? Because I could say I've done this, but if it's not available, that's not tangibly observable, right? So as long as it's observable, the work you've done, someone else can actually look at what you've done, introspect, share feedback, that would qualify as work in public. Yeah.
So I recently read your newsletter about that. Is it essential to have our own community regarding that? Yeah. So regarding it, how does it help to have our own community? How does it help? Does it help us to getting more recognized or pushing out our work?
See, my personal opinions on communities as they go are, and this, by the way, I say for communities that are not product or brand centric. This is something for independent communities. Unless you have a common aim, a goal, or a struggle, why would you have people come together to collaborate and work? Right? If, as long as you have a common problem and there's not a place you found where you can work on it, sure, go for it. Because more than, it of course creates a circle where you can showcase work with each other, collaborate with each other. That really gets into the essence of what a community is. But that's more for working together than showing to the world. Now, of course, if you grow it well enough and your aim is to professionally be a community builder, then of course your ability to work and sustain a community is work that you can show. But outside of it, not really. At that point, it's mainly just to work together. Now, of course, why you want to showcase it comes down to you. But I would say that there is a lot involved in building a community, so only jump into it if you're really willing to take on all those challenges as well. Because there is a lot of responsibility for it. Yeah.
Contributing code on GitHub, like code or documentation, is pretty straightforward. But I could never wrap my head around how do you contribute to design? How do you contribute to the design files? Like, I have never seen Sigma files.
So when it comes to contributing design, not a lot of organizations have had great ways to do it. The first way to start off is by raising issues and challenges on what's problematic. And after that, depending on how the organization tackles this, it would have a to and fro, where either you suggest this sort of design improvement or they take over. But you're right, there's no standard way to do it. It really comes down to how each organization individually deals with this.
So how do you tackle this issue at Applet?
We have spaces where we take feedback, where we ask for reviews. We do a lot of usability testing. So if you're facing design problems, you raise them in a structured manner. We would have an invite, probably invite you on a call with someone from the design team where you discuss. They're gonna collaborate and work on what could be an improved design, and based on who how it works out, either you or someone from the team will implement it. But we have created methods to raise feedback for design particularly. That is something we do encourage and accept. Any other question? By the way, if not, I'm still gonna hang around here till the end of the meeting. I'm not rushing out. So we can have that discussion later on as well. But yeah, that I guess is about it for me. Thank you so much.
Are you all still paying attention?
Yes.
Not loud enough.
Yes.
Yes.
Still not loud enough.
Yes.
Want lunch?
Yes.
Yes.
Who was that? The swag guy? By any chance?
That was a smart way thing to do.
Smart thing. Okay. Are you all excited for the next session?
Yes.
Or are you more excited for lunch?
Lunch.
Okay, so the thing is,
honest.
lunch is still not here, so you have to get to the next session. So let me introduce Jayesh and Vishnu Priya, who will be talking about filling out the perfect application. So again, I want to take this opportunity to tell you all, if you are ever applying to an event, Please don't fill descriptive answer as yes or no. That was the reason for rejection of many applications. We don't want that to happen again to any other organizers. So please take that into consideration. And now I will invite Jayesh and Vishnu here. Yes. Ready? Let's go. So big round of applause, everyone.
Thank you, Ashna. Alright, we just set up the laptop, so give us maybe 5 minutes. But meanwhile, maybe we can just have a bit of a chat to understand how you guys.
Or rather, I have a better idea. So, give away time, okay?
Yeah.
So this is something that I do at every single meetup that I host, every single session that I host. So take 2 minutes, use Google, find the best developer joke. It can be prod crashing. I don't mind. That was good developer. Anyway, so any takers? We have badges, special internship badges in case anyone's interested. Limited edition, you won't find these on the GitHub shop. You have a mic in front of you, but raise your hand first. What, you don't want to share your joke? Is it not funny? Okay, who wants to go first? Raise your hand.
Me, I have a joke.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll do it with my friend. Like it's kind of a script.
Okay.
Okay, so.
Okay.
भाई तू डेवलपर है क्या?
हाँ भाई डेवलपर हूँ।
भाई उसके दिल में मेरे लिए फीलिंग्स डेवलप कर देगा क्या?
नहीं कर सकता भाई।
Who else?
So, how many of you use dark mode?
All of us.
Like I use it because light attracts bugs.
Yes.
So it's basically about the debugging part. So if a code works and basically it's like a conversation between two. So how it goes is like, does your code works? No. Then silence and suffer. Then suffer in silence.
Did not land well.
Huh?
Did not land well. You first, then you. Then you.
I have a really good UDP joke, but I don't know if you'll get it.
This was about TCP and UDP.
No doubt I skipped networking. Okay. Who was next? Nahi, I picked someone. Who did I pick?
नहीं था.
Forgot, huh?
Just me. Developer joke.
माइक नहीं है. ये यार शेयर कर यार माइक उसके साथ. क्या बोल रहे?
हो गया.
So if the code is running, don't ask the developer how the code works.
Did it land well? Okay. Yeah, we should actually do this. We should do a public review just like it happens on GitHub. We have a public review. If people laugh, you get the badge. Don't have your friends laugh. SRM wale kya hai? Don't laugh at your friends' jokes. I know. Okay. You. Go ahead.
Why do Java developers wear glasses? Because they don't see sharp.
Okay. That landed well. Any other takers? We have 3 more badges.
Which is the favorite actor of JavaScript developers? Jason Statham.
अरे शॉर्ट फॉर्म JS होगा ना.
अबे JSON.
JavaScript. नहीं, did not land well.
What makes the programmer feel powerful? Is it money? Is it stress? Is it fixing your own bugs? No. It is fixing your friend's bug that has been bugging him for a few weeks. fixing other bugs.
Did not land there.
So recently I created an AI to remove bugs from my code. Yeah, I deleted my whole code.
So this guy works with AI, so he can definitely relate.
So, what is Mexico's favorite operating system? Tacos. Tacos.
Why did programmer quit his job? He didn't get a raise.
We did not get your
What is a computer's favorite snack? Microchips.
Okay, for the last one.
So why people don't answer your question for diamond?
I would not know.
Because this was not found for what?
That's person. Many people do answer my question. How are you all doing? Side anyone?
Okay.
Sarah Swag
I also get it right. Okay, so why is the software developer broke?
Who is it?
Why is he broke? Why? Yeah, so the thing is, he used up all his cash. CSLHE.
Backend devs get it.
Backend devs get it. You don't get it.
What's the object-oriented way to get value?
Inheritance.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yes, sir.
सेटअप हो गया ना और नहीं है और है शायद है लोग होंगे
I look like a good person.
So before we dive into our next session, do any of you have any questions, any feedback for us, the speakers, anyone? I'd like to think that the event is going smoothly then. No hiccups? Yes, no, just like the applications on Suma. Yes, no hiccups.
No hiccups.
Maybe louder.
One feedback.
No hiccups.
Feedback.
Maybe you could have called some recruiter.
We do have a recruiter. The recruiter in question is there, but they are not recruiting right now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Okay.
The internship is there, right? You can keep an eye on it because they have like a lot of organizations throughout the year.
Exactly.
So there is your opportunity to get it. We also recruiting as well.
Yeah, they're also recruiting.
You can
So
now,
it's not like we don't have recruiters, we just have a lot of opportunities for you that can get you good internships or good job opportunities. It might feel like, we are not offering jobs right away, but does that really happen in the real world? Even at other career fairs, do you get jobs right away? You get guidance, you land internship opportunities. So, but regardless, we'll take that into consideration. Thanks for
Maybe some startups could have been called. Some more startups.
We did have
Which are
a couple of startups that wanted to attend the session, but we just wanted things to be more informative than just pushing students into startups.
But informative things can be shared on YouTube also.
You want to take his email? Next time, can you?
We understand your grievances and we'll make sure that we address them for sure. Thank you for bringing it up. That's actually very good feedback. I'd say that.
I just want to add one thing. You can see him on YouTube and whatever it be, and you can, put pause or you can just go away with some other content. But when you are sitting here, you don't have anywhere to go. If you are not having network, also definitely listen to other.
It's also about networking and meeting.
Yes.
That's a bigger part of it. You meet people who are open to opportunities.
Yeah.
Who can provide those things.
So I'll partially answer your question when my day comes.
I don't grill him, it's fine.
No, that's fine.
Feedback is feedback.
Yeah,
It's fine, it's fine.
correct. So, like, when I do my talk, right, I want to basically touch upon how in a hackathon or during the course, what do you get, and why is this just not about getting you an offer? It's more of like building you for the next 20 years. So it's not just about, oh, I just get an offer and I'm settled. That's not the motto that we're trying to do here. So it's for the long run, not for just the one long run. Yeah, you want to have multiple offers.
Should we start now? Okay. Alright, so my name is Jayesh Sharma. I work at this company, a startup called ZenML. So it's an MLOps startup. We have given other companies take their machine learning models into production. And we also had a talk about that later after the session starts. So this session here is about how to fill out the perfect application. So we'll talk about like what are the different things you should consider in terms of projects, in terms of resume, and how to approach companies, all those things here. And we should have a talk about code time and just come over there. I'll let him introduce her at this point.
Thank you, Jayesh. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Vishnupriya Vora. I work as a product manager at Kodan. And I'll introduce more about what we do and how you can showcase your projects in a much efficient way. So over to you, Jayesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Right, let's start with the slides. So, the first one, please. All right. So the most important thing about applying to any roles and all is doing a proper research. And this research involves a lot of different things. It involves about what is the role you're applying for. That is the most crucial, of course, because it needs to align with your interests. So, for example, if you're looking for something in ML applications, in ML itself, you also have things like, should I work on the research side? Should I do development? Or should I use this applications and stuff like that? So you have to be very clear about what you want. Because you don't want to be involved in an application process where at some point you realize that this is not something I really want to work for. Right? So that is the number one step. You have to understand what is the specific role you will apply for. The second step is looking at the company itself. What rules is the company offering? What are the different responsibilities that will relate to the specific role? Because it depends on from company to company. An engineer at one company might do some stuff, but the same engineer at some other company might have different responsibilities. They might have taken care of other things. So you have to be very clear about it with the recruiter. You talk about them or exactly what are the different companies need. And all of this research is also not just about the companies you're applying for in terms of internships. It also applies to stuff like, let's say, GSOC or there are some internships and all those things. How many of you have applied for GSOC in the past? GSOC or LFX internship? So quite a few people, right? So even in that case, researching gives you the edge. Because you may imagine that any popular project will have a huge bunch of people applying there. So what you can do to differentiate your application is proper research. Just take an example. Let's say if I were applying for ODNS, it's part of LFX mentorship back in my day when I was in college. So what I did was I researched in very much detail about what the problem at hand was. Then I prepared some very specific arguments and answers, interacted with the people there. So that gives you the edge because people will know that you have researched well. They're just not looking for like random comments, okay, what should I do next? Just don't rely on the people there to take the burden. You take the burden on yourself, you do your proper research, figure out what you need, and then prepare something which people can't understand. That is the idea. So the role you're applying for is super important because it needs to align with your interests. Second, the company you're applying for, what is the company expecting out of you? How is the company culture is the next thing? So you have to be very sure that this is something that you want to apply for. Let's say if you're looking for remote roles, you want some flexible hours, you want to work on something on your side. Because many people here are also under the impression that maybe I also want to work on projects on my side. I want to look at current trends, whatever's hot in the industry, I also need to work on those stuff. So will I get the time if I add this company? Because it's not about just trading by any other company, because they might have stronger, stricter hours which you might have to adhere to, right? So you have to worry also about your own ideas and ambitions. Because in the long run, it's not just about one job, right? It's about your career as a developer. So you have to think about what is my long-term goal. My long-term goal is to stay at the top of industry trends, to build great projects and to learn some things. And on the side also to work on something, right? So your goal needs to be center stage and not what the company wants. Because if you just go by what the company needs, you land up in a place where you don't even like it after some time. So you have to worry about your own goals specifically and see if your goals comply with what the company expects out of you. So that is really important as well. Second, the values, like what is the company values? You can see if the company culture is nice or not. That involves stuff like how they treat their employees, do they give enough breaks or not? Because those things will take a toll after some time. You don't realize it at the beginning, but at some point you see, okay, this is not something which is working, I have to go down. And that really hurts a lot because you're investing so much time into developing relationships and you have to jump again to the next job. That's also very important. And then all of these things put together is also something which will help you tailor your resume. So once you have all this in your backend, okay, this is the stuff which I need, that comes the backend part. So if you go to the next slide. So this is how you tailor your resume. So once you are clear on what kind of roles you're going to apply for, the next step is the resume stuff, which is super important. So as a rule of thumb, if you are applying for a non-senior, non-very senior position, try to keep your resume to just one single page. So make sure that whatever you have to present fits in that single page. If you have so much content, then either you're super experienced or either you're just putting stuff which is not relevant there. So for example, if you're applying for an MLOps role, an MLOps engineer role, you have to only put the projects which are relevant specifically to MLOps. So if you work only on one project, that's fine. It doesn't have to be like a whole range of projects. Nobody cares about that. If I see only one project which is super interesting and does touch on different skills, I will take that person's presentation and bring it up one minute, right? So what you do is tailor your resume. Just use only the relevant skills and only the relevant experiences to the specific job role. And then the second thing is how you describe what you did. So you don't just put it, okay, I was this intern there and I worked on this as well. It doesn't really matter. I need to, because I don't know what the project means. For example, let's say somebody at a previous company might say, I worked on X as a project. Now, what is this project? What does this project do? I have no idea because I never worked at that company. Right? You have to describe more about what you did and less about what the project name was. So let's say I may say that I developed, let's say MS Stacks is something which I'm developing right now. I won't talk about MS Stacks because nobody can know what MS Stacks is, right? I will tell that I use Terraform to make it easy to deploy MLOps infrastructure as scale. So that gives you a very specific idea. I use Terraform, which is the name of the skill which I use. So always include every point, what is the language or what is the skill that you specifically use. So by writing this only one sentence, you might understand I work on MLOps, I work on infrastructure development, and I also work on Terraform. So all of these three things can be conveyed in a single line, right? So in every line you put, make sure there's information, there's no just random stuff. So every line needs to have what language you need to work on, what is the experience level, what that needs to get in there. So I started a project which did this, increase revenue by this much on. So all of those points should be solid points people can get a lot of information out of. Don't just fill in random words. That needs to happen. Be precision in it. This is what I mean by precision. So you have to be very tailored. If it's a short resume, it doesn't matter. It looks great. People are really happy with this short resume because you get to understand what the person actually works on. Right? So the resume is super important. And the next thing which you need to put in resume is projects. So maybe the next slide, I'll talk more about projects specifically. So as I said, that you need to have catered projects, very relevant projects to whatever your needs are. But that also has some other guidelines you need to follow. So the first thing would be look at projects as a way to build your skills. So let's say if I'm going to apply for an MLOps position, right? So I may go into the career page, then it will give me, thankfully, if the company is good enough, they will give you a list of skills that they need. So for example, they'll say that the person needs to have experience with Kubernetes, they need to have experience with Kafka, they need to have experience with Spark or MLflow, whatever different tools I mentioned there. So when I see a list of tools like these, the first question I ask myself is how much experience do I have with these tools? So if I say never worked with evidently or never worked with any other MLOps tools in the past, what I will do as the first step is to prepare a project based on those things as a way to learn those things. So look at projects not just as something that will look good on a resume, but look at projects as a way in which I can upskill on these things. Because the only thing which matters in an interview is not that we have a project on your resume, but if you can talk about it very well. So what I need to do is I don't care about project. I might not even put it on the resume itself. What I want to do is I want to be proficient in this specific skill, let's say MLflow, and to understand how it works, how you deploy MLflow, what is the use of MLflow. All of those things need to be there. So look at projects not just as an ornament to your resume, but more of how you build your skills. That's a very important step. So once you are building projects this way, how do you decide the topic? Like what project should I build next? Like that has to be an important question. Like so, there are a huge number of domains there. Even in MLOps, you have like multiple things. So what specific problem do I solve? So for that, look for burning problems. So that also applies not just to projects, but also to blogs you write. Let's say like I was also talking about putting those things out in public. That I'll talk about that later on. But like the idea is very simple. You look at burning problems. So let's say I'll give you an example. I was working with Flutter back in my first year, and Flutter did not have an Azure integration at that point. I don't think it still has an Azure integration. So when I researched about this, I found this is a burning problem. There is no easy solution to do this thing right now. So I researched and I built a small application out of that thing, and I wrote a blog about it. And even if you search Flutter Azure right now, like 4 years or 5 years afterwards, you still find my article on the blog on this. So that's how you do it. So you need to identify burning problems. Okay, this is something which is not easy to do. If you find something which is super common, everybody does doing it in the same project, don't do it. You can do it personally to just learn that skill, but don't showcase that to anybody. So it doesn't really matter. If I see the same iris data set problem, I won't even look at it. Okay, it's not something just copy from somewhere. So look at burning problems, find solutions, invest some time, because this is going to be hard. If you find a burning problem which is not an easy solution, you have to spend time. You have to spend 1 weekend, 2 weekends, one night again, but that will be worth it because you have unique solutions now. So if I build something which doesn't exist right now, I can brag about it. I can write an article, I can put it on LinkedIn, I can talk to you how I built this stuff. The experience which I gained from solving this problem will help me not in the connection which I need right now. So that's important. So put relevant projects. How do you find projects? Find burning questions and then solve them. That's the one thing. And after you've done that, get feedback from the industry. So if you know somebody is working in MLOps, approach them, tell them, okay, I found this problem. Are you also facing the same problem? Are you familiar with people who also face the same problem? This is something I have built as a solution. Can I present this solution to them to see if it works? Take feedback from them, improve the solution. And now, once you've done that, it also has the potential to convert into an open source project by itself. So if you have built a solution which is super nice, which people are using in the industry as well, it's time to put that into an open source project, which is again a whole different archives. So that is how you work with projects and going forward. So don't just look for them as an ornament with the resumes around. Use them as your skill building exercise. And the last one is involve the community. So if you are building something which is used, as I said, like if you use by a lot of people, convert that to an open source project, involve the community, and then go from there. That's another thing. Next up, please. The next thing is build your social proof, right? So that is something already I talked about, like talking in public, managing stuff as well. So all of that is super important. So if you, because that's differentiated. If you look for applying jobs, thousands of people are doing that. How do you differentiate your work? So the first step is, as I said, solve burning problems that differentiates you in one level. The second step is how you optimize your social presence. Because if I look at anybody of your profiles, how do I know what you've done? The only way I can do it is through LinkedIn, through Twitter, and how your presence is, right? So there's no other way, which I know. Because there's so many people, how can I scan through all of them? So you have to optimize LinkedIn profile, add strong references, look at how you can showcase all of you done through blogs and stuff, and that will really help you some sort of thing. So that's all I have about projects. I think more on projects will be talked about by Vishnu here. She does on all those things and also some tools which you can use to do the same stuff. So welcome on the stage.
Thank you so much, Ash. Before we dig deeper into problem solving and project building, I want us to take a step back and think from the perspective of first problems, first principles, right? So why do we build projects? I'm sure all of you have built one small or a large project at one point in your journey, right? Anybody would like to answer why we build projects? Yes.
We build projects to showcase like what we have learned and what we gain and what skills do we have.
Right, awesome. Anybody else would like to answer? Yes.
I build projects because I have a problem and I need to solve it. So for that, I build a project, and building a project leads me to learning something and implementing it, which leads me to showcasing it to someone.
Yes, absolutely. Right. So these are the two. Okay, you'd like to answer something?
Yeah. So basically, like if I've learned some knowledge, but that's theoretical, but I have to implement something. So like that creates a difference between the theoretical and the practical.
Yes, that's a great point. Right. So this covers the 2 points on why we build projects. One is for external reasons, to showcase our skills, to show others that, hey, this is what we built, right? To showcase our skills to others, potential recruiters, to community. And the second reason why we will build projects is to internally solve problems ourselves, as I mentioned. To gain confidence in our skills, expand our skill sets, and to solve problems and learn new things, right? Before moving forward, I'd like to show you all something. Can you have the next slide? Right. So this is a YouTube video. I want you all to notice the number of views there are. It has 1.7 million views, close to 2 million, right? And there are so many other YouTube videos, project building, tutorial, crash courses, which have millions of views. Can anybody guess out here what is the number of developers there are in the world? Any guess? Total number of developers. Any guesses? Any estimate number? Yes, you have something?
70 million.
70 million. Okay, anybody else?
500 million.
Okay, that's interesting.
1 billion.
More than a billion.
3 billion.
1.3 billion. 1.5 billion.
You move closer to the population.
15 million.
25.
Actually, so the statistics says that we have close to 25 to 30 million people who are working out there as professional developers, working in a job as a salaried person, basically, employees out there. So there are 25 to 30 million people, million developers out there. How many do you think are in the top 10%? The people who are, great developers? How many do you think are there?
500,000.
Okay. Anybody else?
A few hundred.
A few hundred. Yeah, exactly. So there are only a few hundred or a few thousand people who are actually great developers. So that means that all of these million people who are watching content on YouTube or learning through YouTube videos will never be a great developer, right? Because the math just doesn't add up. Now, there are certain reasons why this is the case. There is lack of education, there's lack of practice, there's lack of experience, right? And all of these reasons are intertwined with each other. As you practice more, you gain more experience. As you spend more time, as you practice more, you have more experience at your hand, right? And you have the next slide? Yeah. So practice happens in two ways, at least for the real world coding, in full stack, front end, back end, etc. Right? One through project building, and next is by solving problems. The most seamless way to build projects and to solve problems is using CodeDAM. CodeDAM is an all-in-one platform where majorly three verticals are served for developer education. You get coding courses where you can learn, gain more knowledge, you practice problems, and you build projects. But there are also some issues with practicing, right? With building projects. There are lack of ideas. You don't know what to solve, you don't know what to build, you don't know which idea to pick up, right? I'm sure we all have been there. We want to build projects, we just don't know what to build, right? There are some set of problems which are too easy to solve. There are some set of problems which are too hard. If it's very easy for you, you might just end up wasting your time, right? And if it's too hard, you will give up very soon, right? And you also need just the right amount of guidance. If you're given too much guidance, you won't think that I have solved this, I have built this. And if you're given too less guidance, you will find very hard to do it yourself and you just give up. So now I want you to just walk you through the interface we provide at CodeDAM. Can we have the interface? Yes. There are more than 1,000 coding problems here across HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React, Node, so many more, which you can pick up and solve according to the level of difficulty that you set for yourself, right? Let's just start with one React problem. Now, what is a React? What is a problem in general? A problem is a 10 to 15 minutes long activity, which you're basically solving for a quick revision. If you have an interview coming up, as a quick revision, or just to get a good overview of the concept. Just to learn the concept, you solve that problem. You get a detailed instruction as to what to build, how to build it. You get a list of challenges you can solve. Other people who have done it and how they've done it, if there's any issue they've faced it, that's all. As easy as it can get, right? Now, problems also come with a lot of setup and boilerplate code, right? So, if you want to learn a specific problem, this is a great interface where you can just pick, say this is a style button problem, right? So you can choose the concept that you want to recap or the concept that you want to learn and jump right into it. Let's now talk about projects on CodeDAM. Right. So what's the difference between a practice problem and a project? A project is a much more complex problem that you're solving basically. It stretch over days. You're building a full end-to-end application. In this case, we've already provided you a lot of templates, a lot of projects that you can jump into right away, right? Let's just pick any project. Yeah, this is the multiverse HTML5 gallery project, right? So here you get a detailed instruction of what to build, how to build it, how the project should look like, what are the assets that are covered. Let's resume the project. Yes. So as you can see, this is a very step-by-step guided project. You are told at every step what you have to do, how you can do it. In this, in any project building, basically, you have challenges to solve. You have hints to how to solve those challenges. By the way, this IDE is a modified version of VS Code on the web browser. It is built completely in-house by our team, and it powers the interactive learning experience on the whole platform. Right. So this is the area for instructions. You get all the challenges, discussions, what you have to build here. Once you complete the challenges, you move on to the next step, where you get another sort of challenges, another set of instructions, how to build, what to build. You also get a complete file system with assets included to build this project, which would look somewhat like this. Now you can use these projects to showcase on your resume, to build with the community. Of course, this isn't exactly a very close project that you have to do what it says you to do. Of course, there are challenges that you have to solve, but you can always polish it on your own, add detailing, as much as improvements that you can make. One interesting thing that I like to share this is once you submit the project, we have AI evaluation on the platform. That means that once you submit the project, AI will evaluate your files, every file in your project, right? So you will get a detailed report of basically how you structured your code, how you've written it, and will review it and give you a rating of the files. That way, you can use it to improve in your next projects, improve your projects further, detail them out more, and just keep learning on the way, right? So, do we have any questions so far? Any questions on CodeDam? Any questions on project building? Yes, we have one there. Yes.
I was asking the issue as a developer in my case is I know how to do stuff, but the point is when I go for a new particular solution which is there, which is not being you can say taken up yet, I figure out that I have to find my own way to do it, right? But the CodeJam is providing me a particular way to do it that I have to follow, right?
Yes.
So what do you
Right.
say for that?
So, as I mentioned, these problems and projects, there's a difference between both of them. In problem, you're solving exactly one problem, right? That this is what you have to build. This is the exact thing that you have to solve as a developer, right? But projects are more open-ended. They're big applications that you take time, that you take days to build. Of course, you might do an easy project in 30 minutes, but that's not the point, right? So projects on CodeDam are open-ended. There are challenges that you have to solve, but this is just the underlying requirements that you have to meet. If you're building a basic project, you should have these certain elements, certain challenges already there in your project. On top of that, you can make improvements. The best way, as Jayesh also mentioned, is to involve the community, right? Take feedback, see how others have built it. Look at other submissions, right? So you'll get an idea of, am I doing this correct? Is this it? Is this it? Like I got a framework of all the challenges, but do I stop there? How do I continuously improve it? And that is the most important question that you have to ask as a developer, because there's no scope of learning. As you keep practicing more, as you spend more time working, you learn more things, right? So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yes.
So like the hints that you guys provide, so is it like particular lines of code, because every coder has a different way of writing their own code. So, and like that was one question, and the second question is like when the AI verifies it, what if there's a more optimized way of doing it, but since I'm figuring it out for the first time how to work in this project and I have a lengthier way, will it even verify that, if there's a more optimized way to do it, or will it just see if the code is correct or not?
See, to see whether the code is correct, I'm sorry, I'm just answering your second part first. We'll answer the first part later. To see whether your code is correct or not, we have a run test button here, right? It checks for the evaluation. If you are solving a particular challenge in this list, and you do not write the correct code for it, it will not pass. You cannot move forward if you have not completed this, right? So to check whether or not your code is correct, we already have an evaluation script running. So it will check whether you written the correct code or not. AI checks for improvements that you could have done in your code. Right? Now there's a very senior developer, advanced developer. You're just starting out in the job, you're a beginner. Of course, there are so many things to learn from a senior developer. Think of AI as a senior developer, at a very senior most position, knowing much more than anybody else. And AI gives you feedback, say that you have written redundant code, right? You could have just summarized it into few elements or use some other components or XYZ, right? So that is what it tells you to do. Does that answer your question? And could you please repeat the first part?
So the first one is, you said that there are particular hints, like if I'm creating an HTML project, so there are particular hints. So are the hints just lines of direction, like you have to go about this, or are they like, supposedly like for footers, so you use this. So is there code for it that's given, like an example for code that's given, or this is briefed about in the hints?
So this verified solution provides you the lines of code for the challenge set. But of course, if you do not need the exact code, because see, everyone has different needs, right? It's difficult to cater to only one developer. Now everybody wants give me the exact solution of it, which is okay from one perspective, which is not from another. So this hints give you the exact code for the every challenge. But if you need to challenge yourself even one step ahead, where we have an inbuilt AI here, right? So you can quickly ask Jarvis that, okay, this is a challenge that I need to solve. What approach should I take, right? Now that is a hint. Then it's telling you, it's pointing you in the right direction. Right. So these are the tools all there in a single tab. There is a lot of setup, there is a lot of, download this package, download that setup. You need to do that before moving for a project. Codedown gives you everything bundled in one tab, which is why it's a great resource if you're just beginning up to, on your journey or if you're building a project. So this here, see, what are the best ways to type buttons, CSS and React. It also gave you a approach that you can use, set of line of codes. But you don't have to do that. You now get an idea that this is how it can be done. I can also do it another way. What are the different approaches that I can take, right? So, again, awesome. Any other question do we have? We are also hiring for front-end, back-end, full stack, and other roles at Codedown. So if you're interested, if you are confident in your developer skills, you can quickly hop on to careers.codedown.com and explore all the opportunities that you have. We also, can you have the next slide, please? Yes, next. So just go to codedown.com and start building your projects today. We have discount coupon for today. If you use, you just scan this code. All the projects are free to build, but if you are, of course, if you want to take a step ahead and go to these exclusive projects with that, access all the courses that are there on the platform, you can use this code to get 60% off on the platform, which is exclusive for today, exclusive for everyone, all of you. That's all, nobody else. Awesome. So I'll be happy to take up any more questions. Yes.
As you mentioned for careers, like as I work in like generative AI and computer vision sector, so are there any particular opportunities for the particular sector?
Currently, we don't have an AI opening, but of course, everyone in every domain, every role is using AI to advance themselves. So that's always the scope there is. If you go to careers.codedown.com, you see front end, designated developer position out there. So those are the few roles that we're looking for now. But of course, we're always open to be on the lookout for interesting people who can offer great solutions and we're excited to build, especially small startups.
Can I ask a bit of like maybe if you just don't answer that particular question, like you said you are using a particular AI model which basically evaluates the particular project. So can you, if you know about, like, can you just explain like what kind of thing you're using there? Like you are using some API or something?
Yes. Before I answer your question, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Pranav. I'll hand him the stage now. He can answer all of your questions on what is happening behind the scenes. And yeah, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I'm Pranav. So to answer the particular question, may I know who asked the question? Okay. May I know your name?
Yeah, my name is Astitwa.
Astitwa, okay. So this is directly linked to OpenAI's GPT-4. We have a prompt. We basically faded all the files. So this project has only 2 files, index.html and style.css. So we faded both the files to GPT and gave it a prompt. Go through these files and tell what the improvements can be. And that gives us a JSON output. And we pass the output and highlight the particular lines of code that it mentioned and give you the feedback or suggestions of feedback.
It can be seen as a feedback. Like as you're giving a prompt in ChatGPT-4, there's a possibility the prompt won't be an accurate prompt, because when you go for the solutions which are related to projects, I guess. I personally use ChatGPT and I have the access for the ChatGPT-4 also. So the thing which I came to see is basically it is accurate, but it is not always accurate when it comes to the project. When you think like I'm creating a project, what can I do further?
Yes, the problem here is that it's the context element. We are not giving it the context of the project, but the context of the code. So we are asking it to validate the code and if there are any logical errors or better way to write it. But the project context is not fully given to it. It's because of the context element, nothing else.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Yeah.
So like what are the tech stacks that you are currently targeting?
So on the program, we currently have 5 learning paths. So 3 for web development, 1 for data structures, 1 for Web3, and 1 for DevOps. So our Web3 and DevOps learning paths are currently being completed, while the rest of them are ready. So our learning paths are a structured way of giving you what all technologies you will learn in what order to master a particular skill set. Let's say if you want to master web development, which I'm sure that most of you are aware of, we would first need to understand the basics of web development, how network requests are made, what are HTTP requests, and then you go on to learn about HTML and CSS, and then you hop on to JavaScript, and then you understand database exists, how you store data, and where you write business logic, that is backend. So we give you a particular structure, and you have the ability to choose the technology that you want to learn from. Let's say you want to learn from Golang instead of Node.js. So you can take a Golang course. So we have a lot of courses. We have currently 180 plus courses on Golang. You can choose from any course you want, and you could link them to your learning path. We provide personalized learning paths so that you could design your own roadmap from the suggestions you get and follow it along with the next few months.
So like as I can see that the website is majorly targeting all the beginner developers.
Yes.
Rather than a senior.
Yes, we currently do not have a lot of advanced courses on the platform, but we would want to bring more courses. We, as a small startup, cannot build all the content by ourselves. So we try to outsource content by onboarding more instructors onto the platform. So any one of you, if you're interested in teaching as well, you could join our platform and make a course and publish it. You could visit codam.com/instructors. So we'll onboard you as an instructor. You would have the complete interface, and you could also build the problems yourselves. And you could share them with your students, your friends to solve. Okay. Any other questions?
Other questions?
Yes. Yeah. With that, if there's anybody who's using Codam, IDE, solving problems, or planning to build projects, we have some swags to you as well. You can get in touch with me after this session, and we'll be happy to handle these swags. Awesome. With that, I think we can conclude the session.
I speak to Recruitment as well. So Zenable also is hiring right now. So Zenable, if you go to zenable.io/careers, they're having a front-end development at this point. So maybe if you're interested in those technologies, take a look, and we'll be hiring maybe a few months down the line for relevant positions as well. With that said, I would write that after we conclude, you have to go up to the voting for your question.
Can you repeat the
The URL.
Yeah.
It's zenml, zenml.io. zenml/careers. We are a Ross company, but we don't say
Can you just give me a profile of the company once?
Yeah, the company, we are a remote startup. It's based in Munich, and we are around like 12 people right now in the company. We are building a Python package, which makes it very easy for any data scientist to write code in such a way that you can go into production from day one. So we have these pipeline, we have different abstraction that we can use to write code in a way which is agnostic of any tech stack. So you don't just different DevOps tools you do. You want to go from AWS to GCP or some other cloud, you can also without changing any of the terminal code. So we make it easy for data scientists to write code in a very agnostic way, which is very portable and easily transferable. So that's what the idea is behind it. And we have a lot of different partners in the industry that we're working with. And it's like a growing startup at this early stage. Also raised so much funds. Alright, so with that said, if there are no more questions about any of the stuff, I would like all of you to head for lunch finally. And